Okay. Hey, y'all. It is Charisma Cares, nurse practitioner. Let's see. So, you may be wondering why you haven't heard from me in a while. So, if you are on my Facebook, you would probably already know. But if not, let me fill you in. Today, we're going to talk about 5 ways to combat acute stress while I am in the middle of combating acute stress. So, a week and a half ago, my son, we rushed to the hospital in the middle of the night, early morning, and he was admitted to a hospital here in Kenya. He ended up staying in the hospital for 5 days. 2 to 3 of those days were in the ICU. So you can imagine it's pretty serious. And that was the ultimate level of acute stress. Not only are we in a foreign country, but I wasn't really a fan of some of the care in the hospital. Some of the care was a bit below par for me. So, me being a nurse practitioner, it was necessary for it was necessary for me to step up and put on my doctor's hat, as well as my advocating hat, as well as my mother hat, and take the lead on his care. That required a lot from me. That required me to be mom and deal with the sympathetic portion of it, but to still have to basically give orders, tell them what labs to order, what tests to order, what medications to give or not to give. Eventually, we did get a great specialist on board that was able to take the lead. This was by day 2 or 3, but it was very rough. It was a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of anxiety. As you know, laying in a recliner or a hard hospital bed is just not for the weak. Or for the 35 and over crew, because our backs are not built the same. Um, there were some things that helped me get through this a little easier, and I want to share those with you. I want to share 5 tips because we're not going to be here a long time. Y'all know I can talk, but we're going to share tips to get through the acute stress. And the acute stress is when something just blindsides you, just hits you. You may be going along your life, la 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 la, everything is wonderful, and next thing you know, you're like, what the hell? Like, what am I going to do? And your body goes into this mode where you may fight, you may do flight, you may fawn, or you basically become this people pleaser. I'm a fighter. I know a lot of you are fighters. You may be a runner. You may be a flight. You get out of there. But for me, I'm a fighter. So I'm going to fight to the death. So in that hospital, I may, tell somebody a few choice words, tell them what to do correctly, and then cry in the corner. So I came in all different angles. But when we're in the midst of this, our this adrenaline that builds up and our body is trying its best to catch up to everything that's going on. 5 days, 6 nights of no sleep, being on alert, waking up every time I heard a ding or a bell, or his blood pressure was dropping, or the nurse was coming in to give him medicine. That put my body and my mind in a very stressful situation. As someone that has back problems, I didn't really experience back pain until day 4 or 5. But once I left the hospital, the back pain hit me with a vengeance that same exact day. Why is that? Well, my adrenaline was high, so that, blood wasn't rushing to the back. It was just keeping me alert and going. But once I got home, I started having back pain. And I got home and I still started running and doing things that hadn't been done in the last week. For those of you that are entrepreneurs, your business is yourself in the beginning. So when you're not present, the business is not running. So, I came back and I started running. I signed a new lease for Airbnb. I went and did some things. I wanted to make sure all my clients and my patients' appointments were rescheduled. This was on Thursday. By Friday, I started to feel like I was sick. By Saturday, yes, Angela, you caught me live. All my lives are impromptu. But by Saturday, my body completely shut down. I was not, y'all, I had plans on Saturday of everything I was going to do and take care of. And my body was like, it's a no. No, girl. No, ma'am. You will not. You will not take care of anything. The only thing you're going to do is sit your behind in this bed and rest. Being in a hospital setting, you have to think I was exposed to germs that I wouldn't normally be exposed to. So my immunity is already down from that, but my immunity is down because of the stress. When you are under a lot of pressure or stress, your immune system will drop. Normally, and my nanny and my family can tell you, I do celery juice with some baobab and a couple of other supplements. So my immunity is on point, but it was not. Not only was I feeling extreme pain through my back, but I was also very, very sick. I ended up going to the chiropractor and she told me that I had actually pulled a muscle. So while I was in the hospital on fight mode, I guess I pulled a muscle. I don't know, whatever. Life happens, right? Mama Bear takes control, and it is what it is. But what I want you all to know is when you go into this mode, how do we get out of it? Thursday will be 1 week since we've been out of the hospital. Thursday, I believe we got out. So I'm already getting to a point that I'm better, but how did I get better? How did I get through this fight or flight mode, this fawn mode? How did I get through this and heal myself within a couple of days? So, the first thing that you want to do when you're in this mode and you don't think about it is eat and drink. Very simple. But I promise you, this is something that you forget to do. You forget to eat, have proper nutrition or any nutrition, and drink. So basically, I just ate the food that the hospital gave me. It's as good as it was going to get. I have some wonderful people here in Nairobi that would bring me fruit by and some water, some juice, things that I could take in. So that's the first thing. You want to make sure that you're getting some nutrition, and that nutrition should not be chips and soda. That's just going to make things worse. So that's the first thing you want to do. The second thing you want to do is you want to appoint a person or a friend. Luckily, here in Nairobi, I'm able to easily afford. I have a nanny that lives with me, but she actually was off for her son's graduation. So I have a backup nanny. So she came with me. So I had people there with me around the clock. Now, the thing is, they don't take the place of me because I'm the one with the medical background, and this was very much needed at this time. However, it did help me to occasionally nod off or to notice someone was watching my son. When I'm in the States, I wouldn't be able to have an around the clock caregiver. So, I would have my mom come in, his dad come in, have different, his stepdad come in, have different people come in that can help me. It may not be me leaving. I left one time to shower and get some clothes. When we were in this ICU, that was one room of like 4 to 6 kids. Um, so otherwise, we were in the private room. But having someone that could just step in so you can jump in the shower and jump out, so you can sit down and eat and actually let your food digest. So having someone that's like, hey, what can I do for you? What can I drop off for you? That is very important. You need somebody. And somebody may not be your closest friend or your relative. This may just be somebody that you know in a group. A lot of these people are in our group here. I have a WhatsApp group for Kenya. And, a lot of people say, well, let me send something by, let me drop something off. Having someone that you can depend on. If you don't have anyone in person, someone that you can call and you can talk to and you can vent about, and they won't hold things against you and throw it back at you later. Because in some of these stressful situations, these are things that you may not even want to talk about later. You may not be able to process right away. So, eating and drinking and appointing a person or a friend or a family member. The next thing is sleep. Sleep is so hard when you're in a stressful situation. You're not going to be able to sleep 6 to 8 hours probably, but just taking little cat naps, 30 minutes to an hour, getting some sleep where you can, that helps to replenish your body. It helps your mind to refuel. These are things that you need when you're in an acute stressful situation. I think about it when a loved one has just passed away. These are basic things that you don't think about: eating, drinking, sleeping, having someone help you, appointing that person. So when you're in these acute stressful situations, I want you to pull back and pull from these and say, okay, this is what I need to do. The next thing are just small self care techniques. And these are not meant to be major things, right? These are meant to be small things. Taking a shower. When you are in an acute situation, when you lose a loved one, when you give birth, when you're going through changes in your job and you think you're going to lose your job, when someone is in the hospital, little things, it's just taking a shower can be major. Combing your hair. I swear my hair stayed in the same bun the entire 5 days that I was there, and I could really care less. So just these little self-care things, and this is not your bubble bath and getting your nails done. These are just basic self-care techniques that you need to do to help yourself get through. And then the last thing is acceptance. Acceptance is the hardest one because there's only but so much that you can do in that situation. Even with me being a medical professional, I'm not a pediatric GI doctor. I'm not a pediatric neurologist. I actually do adult and geriatrics. So I don't know everything. So at some point, you have to accept that you don't know everything and hope and pray for the best outcome. What it is that you do know, you let them know. You let whomever is in your corner know what it is that you know. But no one knows everything. It's interesting when I was in first became, I was early in my nurse practitioner training. I was in school, and one of the doctors, she had been a doctor for well over 40 years. I absolutely love her. And she said to me, Charisma, it's not about what you know, it's about knowing what you don't know. That's what's important. There's nothing worse than a doctor or a practitioner that thinks they know everything, because you don't. You will never know everything. No matter what your specialty is, no matter what you do, no matter how long you've been doing it, you will never know everything. You will never know how to get through every situation. There are going to be times where shit is hard as hell. It is difficult and you just don't know what to do. And sometimes you're just going to have to cry. You're just going to have to cry, release it, and accept it. I cried like the first 3 nights we were in the hospital. I just cried. I cried like a baby. I needed to release. So sometimes you just need to release it, accept it, and move forward, because you don't know everything. That's why there are people put here to help you where they can. And so I want you to be very mindful of this, and don't beat yourself up, because y'all, we have a tendency to beat ourselves up when we don't do things the way we feel like we should do. When we don't feel like we're living up to the standards that we set for ourselves. We may be living up to everybody else's standards, but we're not living up to our own standards because we should know more. We should do better. We shouldn't have done this. We shouldn't have done that. Well, woulda, coulda, shoulda. This is what happened, and this is where we are now. So, how do we now take this and change it moving forward and make it into something that's more positive? Now, after getting out of the situation, being in the hospital, I'm still pretty up there, but I'm starting to feel anything that I did to my mind and body during this stressful time. So, not eating, not drinking, not sleeping, the immune system dropping. This is when I'm really going to start to feel it. So, what do you need to do? Not what I did and try to go out here and pick up the pieces and start running. No, that's a bad habit that I have. What we really need to do during that time is we need to rest. We need to rest. We need to take time to sleep. We need to take time to ourselves to recuperate. Now that we are not in that acute stressful moment, we need to put ourselves first because you have been running on E for days, for hours, no matter what that was, a birth of a child, a death of a loved one, maybe a layoff, some very breaking hard news, whatever it was, you're running on fumes during that time and you need to replenish. Well, like I said, we need to sleep. The best way to replenish is to get some rest and to sleep and allow your body to do that. Unfortunately, if you're hard headed like me, you keep trying to go, 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 and you keep running, and then you'll hit a brick wall, and your body will lay you out, and you won't have a choice but to rest. And that's what happened to me. So Friday through Sunday, I rested. And then Monday, I kind of started again. But by that time, I was on antibiotics, for whatever infection I'm fighting off that I ended up getting from the hospital. I'm dealing with the pain in my back. So I actually went to the chiropractor and actually did something else. I did flex. What is it called? A flex lab. So basically, a stretching lab where they do passive stretching on your body there for an hour. And it was actually really, really helpful. So I'll be doing that again as well. But just finding some things that help me and my situation in my body, and then calming your mind, whatever that looks like for you, whether it's meditating, praying, maybe you writing your journal, you do a dear diary, whatever that looks like for you to calm your mind and let go of some of these things, then that's what I want you to do. So let's go over them again. Like I said, this one will be short and sweet. 5 things to bring your body back from acute stress. Eat and drink. Make sure you're eating and drinking during the whole time. Make sure you're getting sleep. Make sure you have a person that you can call on or appoint to help you. Make sure you do those small self care things like a shower, brushing your teeth, basic things there. And then acceptance because we don't know everything, we can't do everything, and there's not a whole lot that we can change in the moment. So I think that's all for me. If you are dealing with some stress right now or some depression, anxiety, or anything of that nature, and you want to reach out and book a call with me, you can go to book.holisticclinic, no, book.holistic, I don't know. That is so awful, y'all. I'll post it for you. Book.holisticbreakclinic.com. Horrible. But I'll post that link for you so you'll have it. Right, because you don't know everything at the moment. I'm hiring right now, y'all. So I'll have someone to take care of this in the near future. But that call is free. It's a free consultation. So if you need to get with me, I am available. And I'll see y'all next time. I actually have a client. So, ciao. And handle that acute stress.